Hello everyone, this is Overmind, and welcome back to another StarCraft 2 replay cast. Today I have for you a PvT, which is always a very fun matchup to watch. We are going to be on Overgrowth LE, a 2-spawn player map, so both players know where each other are, but for the moment, let me stop getting ahead of myself and introduce our players. Spawning up at the top right side in blue, we have our Protoss player, Dissonans, which is very like Dissonance. It's not quite the same thing, though, and it looks like he's actually going to be transitioning into a supply block with a chrono boost back, a very standard build. And spawning down here on the bottom left side in red, we have our Terran player, Delta, with a clan icon that makes him look like he is from Reddit. Definitely someone from the internet here. We have a supply depot going down. Looks like he's going to avoid that supply block almost entirely, so he's got that going for him. I actually don't know who the submitter for this replay is. I apparently didn't think to check before I went ahead and just casted it. But actually I was told that this was going to be a fairly non-standard matchup, so we'll see what happens there. So far looking pretty standard. Barracks going down, Gateway's popping down over here. Both players having a scout cross the map to see what the other one is up to. We see that there's this refinery here, which is going to tell Dissonance a lot about what Delta's... Ooh, pylons. Apparently there's going to be some nonsense in this matchup already. For those of you who don't know, if you're going to proxy pylons, it is occasionally sometimes very good to put them close together here, especially if your opponent knows that you're building them, and you're building them very blatantly. That's going to actually help you with the fact that workers can't get as much surface area and therefore can't kill them quite as quickly. And here we have the proxy gateway going down. It looks like the gateway back at home was cancelled, so like you can put down, and in fact a second proxy gateway going down, all very exciting at this point. Delta gonna do something very smart here, and that is to block off this ramp so that once he kills this probe, which hopefully he will, the probe won't be able to reinforce this or throw down any more buildings. At the moment, the probe going to go ahead and throw down another pylon, but this SCV, hero SCV that he is, kills off that probe. And now we have these SCVs slowly whittling down these pylons. I actually don't know if it's better to have these SCVs continuing to mine and collect minerals, or if they should all be pulled at this point, because this is a very big attack. Gateway finishing up and definitely need to take out these pylons and unpower them quickly. First Zealot being produced, and in fact is being chrono boosted, so the threat is imminent at this point. Marine trying to go ahead and help these SCVs out. This SCV who killed the probe, very stunned, choosing not to participate just yet in this particular attack, which is sort of unfortunate. Looks like he's going to go over and help over here. Zealot pops out, Marine running back. Looks like he lives for the moment. Zealot going to be able to do a lot of damage to these SCVs. Many a traumatized SCV today. Second Marine coming out. Zealot going to try and make something happen. Needs to micro these Marines back. Looks like he loses one. It's very hard to deal with this. Loses the second Marine. SCV is trying to deal with this Zealot, but because of these minerals are not going to be able to get that very important surface area, just going to die slowly one by one. Additional Zealots reinforcing, and here we have the liftoff. You are death, saying Dissonance, who's thrown down a little bit of bad manners. He's been sort of happy about his opponent having this problem. He says, "You are death," which actually doesn't sound like bad manners, but follows it up with calling him a pussy, which is certainly bad manners. Zealots trapped in the base because of these supply depots, but much as in Watchmen, they are not trapped in here with you. You are trapped in here with them as they kill off several SCVs and take down the supply depots so that they can kill this Marine coming out here. Barracks could lift off at this point, and probably should this other supply depot going to fall. Additional Zealots being produced. We have another supply block for Dissonance, and a pretty hard one at that. So we'll see how long it takes him to get out of that. Now this SCV has actually not been idle this entire time. He actually went ahead and built a nice factory and floated it on up, so this might actually buy Delta a little bit of time here. Dissonance asking, "Are you seriously funny?" Choosing not to build any pylons at this point because he doesn't really need supply. He's going to follow around this orbital command with his Zealots. Zealots being very good at hitting units in the air, of course. And here we have the Widow Mine. It's going to burrow. Probe's running. Oh, so much death. So many kills. 5 kills from that one Widow Mine shot. Looks like additional Widow Mines are going to be following this up. Probes choosing to just go ahead down here. Looks like they're going to build a new home for themselves. Still not electing to build pylons because, let's face it, those aren't really important. No one has ever told a Protoss player that you need to construct additional pylons. Certainly not. So, very hard supply block here. A second Widow Mine going down. Both getting good shots off. A single probe left alive at this base who is almost certainly traumatized. Look at him. He stops moving for a moment. What has become of my life? Alright. Alright, finally gonna build some pylons. This Widow Mine has 3 kills, this one has 6, this one is already a corporal after 2 shots. We have an SCV roaming about here. We have a new Marine, which has been produced out of this floaty barracks, which has landed and started making Marines. Looks like this Widow Mine has actually moved to the top of this ramp, which is a good spot for him. Probes trying to get us around, but do not actually manage to. This Widow Mine could get a decent number of kills. Might actually want to stay at the ramp since the probes are going to be running up and down there. And the Marine is actually pretty free to just do what he wants as long as he keeps these probes from killing him. Additional Marine coming in. Probes are mad. Probes are going to try and attack. Looks like he does take out a probe. The probe's electing to leave that Marine alive. Probably not the best decision. Marine running around trying to get a few pot shots off. Probably want to bait the probes over to the Widow Mine. Oh my gosh, is he going to get another shot off with the Widow Mine? Okay. Okay, he does not. Widow Mine's repositioning. See? Now, I love that people put the spaces in here so that you can see what exactly they're saying without being censored, because it makes them look incredibly illiterate when they BM, which is exactly how I feel about people who BM. Usually not incredibly intelligent. Insults go down. Looks like the probes have kind of reclaimed this base. They can't really safely mine here with this Widow Mine here and this other one coming back over here. And the Widow Mine's actually trying to chase down the probes, which is sort of a new kind of special. This base down here being established. This Widow Mine actually getting a decent shot off. A Zealot right on top of it, and I think he's gonna take the bullet. And indeed he does. Look at that death. A very heroic Zealot. His life was for ire. And the problem here being that there's really no cyber core in sight, which means that there can be no Robo Bay. We don't see a forge as far as I know. That one Widow Mine bravely dies, unfortunately. We have the Zealots having to pull back to this base to defend against the Widow Mines, and Delta actually taking his base, taking a refinery, going to get a bunker for the defense. Looks like he's gone ahead and put his barracks back over here, which is not quite spotted by these units here, but he stands a decent chance of being able to take this out if he can mass up a sufficient force. It looks like Zealot's going to try and take out this factory, which is duly saved, which is going to be very good. Widow Mine killing another Zealot, up to 7 kills on this particular Widow Mine. 6 over here, 7 over here. Looks like the Zealot is prepared to lose his life again for ire. And that should be happening imminently, actually. There it is, a probe and a Zealot both being killed there. This Widow Mine about to go off. A little bit more attacking happening on this factory, but indeed the factory is not yet burning down and has been quite invaluable in this game thus far. So we're all very happy with that factory. More supply depots going down so that our Terran player can recover from this, and we see the supplies starting to even out. So far the supply counts are at 21 and 15. We have a few Marines over here, and for the moment these gateways have been left alone, so it is possible the Marines could make something happen, but of course they don't have vision of this spot. Looks like the Zealots that were previously up there are going to head on over to this base, which could be very bad. Lots of mules. Since the Zealots are going to go ahead and attack the buildings, they do kill an SCV that was constructing this barracks. Oh, SCVs, you are so precious. Don't die. SCVs do bunch up. Looks like there are deaths that are going to happen. Unfortunately, casualties being a natural consequence of war. This SCV bravely going to try and continue to build this barracks, even as he's under attack. And it looks like the 3 Marines from up top are going to come down here and try and deal with the 3 Zealots. Now, if they micro correctly, they might be able to make something happen. 1 Marine down. Alright, definitely needs to pull back. Needs to pull back. And now we have 2 Marines versus 3 Zealots. Not looking incredibly good here, unfortunately. Those Zealots die. And again, this base is sort of left in this war-torn state. However, we have Delta kind of hanging in there. This building probably needs to lift before it starts burning officially. Additional probes over here. Going to put a pylon down here for reasons. We have a Widow Mine here to make sure that he does not establish a new base. And we have an expansion from Delta, who is just going to go ahead and be as ballsy as possible during this. However, he definitely wants to make sure that he has at least 1 or 2 SCVs alive. I don't think this one's going to make it out completely surrounded. I think this command center might fall. Here we have the lift, but it is burning down. Looks like the Zealots can tend to just sort of let it float away for the moment. Going to kill the refinery and possibly these very precious supply depots. This barracks burning down as well. No sign of a repair. Possibly could throw down a mule, maybe from, well, no. Sadly, he's floating. Could float over here and be a bit safer, but I think this barracks is actually just going to burn down, which is very sad. There it goes. Exploding into oblivion. These Zealots actually hindered by these minerals as they try and kill off the supply depot here. Command center should probably float around and land somewhere. Looks like this barracks is gonna float away as well. 2 Marines up here who actually, again, could depower these gateways, which would be very helpful. Both players at almost no minerals, and really not too much in the way of units, although our Protoss player does have several probes, but these Widow Mines proving incredibly effective. This one with 8 kills, in fact, and it is going to attempt to chase down these probes and try and kill them, which is very silly, but also very awesome. Makes the game interesting. This Widow Mine with 13 kills. 13 kills, which is amazing. We do have this command center. And by this point, Dissonans must know that there's an additional base. Actually, he doesn't know because this hasn't burned down yet. Oh, go ahead and land. You can do it. Land and throw down a mule. Land and repair. Land and repair. Oh, it's painful. Just a moment too late, and this mule unable to be very effective at all. Can't even mine, sitting lonely on the map. We do have a number of Zealots running around trying to find bases and buildings. This barracks floating around trying to find a good home for himself. I think these Zealots are coming painfully close to this new expansion. The barracks actually going to land back at his new expansion. We do have this mule running his way across the map to the expansion. All the action is converging over here. These Widow Mines effectively preventing any mining from our Protoss player. The probes just sitting idle over here. And the liftoff. Oh, the SCV dies. And boy, this is awkward. Oh, that poor mule made it all the way across the map. Just wanted to mine a mineral, but unfortunately was unable to. And really, the Zealots can't do too much about this since they can't shoot air. Certainly could probably force a draw at this point if you're Delta. Looks like Delta is going to go ahead and move these 2 Marines out and depower these gateways. That is, if the Zealots don't make it all the way across the map in time to stop him. Might just go ahead and go for the kill on this gateway, and maybe that's a good idea since, in fact, Dissonans can't produce additional units without any mining probes. Looks like these probes trying to mine only from this mineral patch, but in fact the AI spreads them out dangerously close to this Widow Mine, so I think that might actually be the death of them once that is recharged. This pylon also looks like it's gonna die before these Zealots can do anything about it. Zealots scouting around here, seeing if there's anything going on. Looks like the Marines a little indecisive as to what to kill. Gonna go ahead and fire down this gateway. However, the Zealots are coming, which is actually a big problem for these Marines. We have a Widow Mine still doing his best to sort of juke around and make sure that he kills as many probes as possible. Widow Mines chasing down probes is not something that I see in a standard matchup. These 2 Marines do die. Zealots defending these unpowered gateways that can't make anything. This may in fact be a draw. I'm very concerned that this might be the first match that I've ever seen that results in a draw. These probes fighting their AI instincts definitely don't want to mine over on this side, can really only mine on this mineral patch. However, that will allow them to very, very slowly mine minerals. Up here in the main, Much of this base is pretty well covered by a single Widow Mine. Hero Widow Mine, in fact, with 13 kills. This Widow Mine scooting on over. He definitely needs to sit in the middle of the minerals so that no mining can go on. That's what we want. But instead, these probes are now able to mine from these mineral patches, slowly getting more and more minerals. Really, they need to build a pylon to repower these to do anything, so already they have a lot of money that they need in order to make anything happen. Probes getting dangerously close. Don't want to go over there, probes. Lots of drama happening here. Widow Mine moving around, trying to make something happen over here. Possibly could plant this over by these zealots and hope that they run down the ramp at some point. Put down the old Widow Mine contain and get some damage off over there. Looks like the Widow Mine is actually going to scout about, which is not something you usually say too much. We do have this barracks re-establishing itself here, as well as this base for Delta re-establishing itself. He has several mining SCVs at this point, and is making more, which means that he is actually going to be able to have a bit of income going on here. This Widow Mine settling in the middle so that it can hit anything that's mining with 11 kills. And this Widow Mine actually going to contain the probes so that they can't get out and mine. Probes are at a loss as to what to do. Can't collect any minerals, unfortunately. Zealot's gonna move out and try and make something happen. Additional scouting going on. Realistically, they can't do much if they find a floating building. However, if they find a building on the ground or something of that sort, going to be very effective at dealing with that. Fortunately, there's nothing over there for them to find, and I think Delta might actually be able to pull this back. Probes mining on the back side of the furthest mineral patch. Lots and lots of micro happening with these probes, surprisingly. Fighting with the AI, which wants them to spread out, which will in fact lead them to their inevitable death, and then moving them all the way around to deliver the minerals. We have a single zealot here guarding this base, making sure that Delta does not re-establish himself there. Additional zealots moving out. We have a single probe in the middle of the map who, if we did manage to get 100 minerals, could then build a pylon and then not have minerals to make things out of these two very important gateways. Barracks is going to start producing marines. So, if Delta can get up a decent force of marines, this is going to be a big deal. He actually has upgraded this into an orbital command center, which means that he can call down those mules and have those very important repairs. He's also going to establish another barracks, which is a ballsy move, and has a supply depot going on, has a nice re-establishing base. The Zealots are on the way back, though, so we'll see if he's able to hold on to that. Single marine here, really, for the defense. Looks like there's going to be a second in a moment. Oh no! Oh no! Both Marines die! No! The liftoff of the barracks. Now Delta knows that the units are coming. Does he decide to load his SCVs? That is the important question here. SCV dies there as it's constructing that barracks. Several SCVs run, which is probably the correct choice. We don't want to lose those. Supply depot likely going to go down. If he could finish this barracks, he could lift it. It's so close to being finished. We'll see if one brave SCV chooses to run back over there and finish it or not. Orbital command center over here. These SCVs actually attempted to mine from the gold high yield. Actually might want to float over to this high yield, since it's on the other side of the map, and since it will give him a lot of minerals. Looks like this is going to fall, which is very unfortunate. SCVs coming on in, and really there's nothing to stop them from mining over here, or even just straight up attacking this base. Dissonans looks like he's going to re-establish himself immediately, or I'm sorry, Delta looks like he's going to re-establish himself immediately adjacent to Dissonans, which probably won't make Dissonance too happy, but there's not a lot he can do about it with these Widow Mines really helping with the defense. Probes unable to mine there now, since we have the Widow Mine repositioned yet again. And here we have sort of a shared base. Now, I've seen lots of base switching before. I don't think I've ever seen a base sharing program. Looks like the Zealots are going to run back across over here. However, there's a Widow Mine right out front, so it's going to be able to get a good shot off and probably kill this first Zealot. Yep, there we go. Oh, run SCVs, run! You can do it! supply block for Delta at the moment, unfortunately. Widowmine getting another shot off, which is going to be very important. I think these SCVs could probably bait into the Widowmines, and it looks like that's what they're trying to do. Keep in mind that Widowmines do friendly fire damage, so these SCVs have to be very careful. Another Zealot going down to 3 Zealots, in fact. And it looks like they are going to go ahead and try and bait these into the Widowmines. This one almost ready for another shot. The Zealots electing to go ahead and try and kill the barracks. Oh no, cancel! Cancel the Marines! Lift the barracks! Burrow the Widow Mines. Repair the barracks. Many SCVs dying, very unfortunate. An additional Widow Mine hit does go off, so now I believe we're down to 2 Zealots. And this game is actually... oh no. Oh, loses a Widow Mine. This game is actually incredibly close. Get the army supply, it is dead even 4-4. Worker supply 8-3 though in favor of Dissonans. However, none of his workers can mine. So that worker supply is a little bit misleading. SCVs rolling around back and forth, hoping to bait these Zealots into a Widow Mine. This one is actually available for shooting things at this point. It looks like Delta's going to go ahead and mine for as long as possible. Could just go ahead and mine for a while and then repair this command center. Very realistic thing to do. Widow Mine gonna burrow. And Zealot's backing off. Repair. Repair, Delta. You can do it. Not electing to repair just yet. Does move the Widow Mine forward just a step. Gets a hit off on one of the 2 remaining Zealots. Definitely wants to repair without it burning down. The Zealot able to still be in that sweet spot to hit this. Looks like he's electing to move his Widow Mines about to defend instead of repairing. Still think repairing would be a good job at this point, since it is, looks like he is going to go ahead and repair it now. And now we're down to, I believe, a single Zealot. Let me go ahead and make sure in the unit counting station. 2 Widow Mines, 2 Mules, and 6 SCVs versus 1 Zealot and 10 probes. So this is in fact a very close game. Supply depots getting rebuilt over here for Delta. Dissonans very unhappy, unable to mine, going to try to make a probe up here at the main. Oh, looks like he is able to mine. I was completely wrong there. Looks like mining has been going on. Widow Mines have been moved about enough that the probes are able to do so. However, this Widow Mine is making a move as if to stop that. Looks like he is going to get a shot off. Only kills 1. But again, these probes are very spread out because there aren't very many of them. This Widow Mine having 16 kills, which is amazing. Probes over here, going to be moving back and forth. Another probe here, doing some distance mining, and here we have an establishing command center at the gold base, which is going to be incredibly helpful. Distance mining still going on over here at Dissonance base. I'm unconvinced that Delta couldn't just win with these SCVs by killing off the base with those, but oh, so many probes dying there. This Widow Mine up to 22 kills, which is amazing. Looks like there is a wall off here at the front of sorts. Chooses to cancel a pylon so that these probes can make their way back in here. And yet again, we have this sort of reversal where it's not you who are trapped in their base, it's them who are trapped in here with you, and that is exactly what this Widow Mine is experiencing as he moves around the base, getting amazing amounts of kills. This Widow Mine sadly is unable to join him. We do get a shot off there, up to 25 kills on this particular Widow Mine. Single probe here mining. Additional probes being produced, but will likely die to that Widow Mine. Over here we have a single Zealot attacking this orbital command center, which has landed at the gold base, been established there, and is actually going to lift. And goodness, there's just nothing the Zealot can really do about that. Pylon over here. We have supply depots being built right in plain view of Dissonance, very much echoing what happened originally in the game, which was pylons being thrown down in Delta's base, but now Dissonance getting a taste of his own medicine. And this is indeed a non-standard game. Additional SCVs are being built. We have, looks like this base is going to land over here, which is just a fine choice. This Zealot really at a loss of what to do. GG Pushy is thrown out as Dissonans leaves the game in very bad form. Delta victorious, completely pulling it back, and stays in the game for a moment of stunned silence as he just does that happy dance in his computer chair. So congratulations very much to Delta on his win. Thank you so much for your submission. This was a very fun game to watch. Definitely learning to hold up very well under pressure down there in the Gold League. I hope to see you soon in the upper leagues, and for those of you who have your own interesting games that you would like to see cast, who have enjoyed this cast, go ahead and submit them to me at NoobCrafted@gmail.com. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Have a good afternoon.